You know that $20 bill you spend on DoorDash every Friday? The one that turns your $12 Chipotle bowl into a $28 impulse decision? Here's something that'll mess with your head. If you're 17 right now, that same $20 could turn into half a million dollars by the time you're 40. And I'm not talking about crypto gambling or getting lucky with stocks. I'm talking about basic math that your parents probably wish they'd understood at your age. Most people hear compound interest, and their eyes glaze over because it sounds like something only finance nerds care about. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Compound interest is literally the difference between working until you're 70 and having the option to retire at 50. Between stressing about every bill and sleeping soundly at night. Between having choices and feeling trapped. And it all starts with understanding one simple concept that takes about 10 minutes to learn, but pays dividends for the rest of your life. So, why does this matter to you right now? When you're worried about paying for gas, keeping up with your phone bill, and maybe saving for college? Because you have something that every billionaire on the planet would pay millions to get back: time. According to a 2025 Bank of America study, 55% of Gen Z doesn't have enough savings to cover 3 months of expenses. That's more than half of people your age living one unexpected car repair away from financial disaster. But here's what's crazy. The same study found that when Gen Z does save, they're actually better at it than any other generation. The average Gen Z saver put away over $6,000 in 2024, beating out millennials and Gen X at the same age. The problem isn't that your generation is bad with money. The problem is that most financial advice either treats you like a kid who needs to learn about piggy banks or assumes you already have a six-figure salary and a 401k. Nobody's explaining the actual mechanism that makes wealthy people wealthy. And that mechanism is compound interest. Here's the part that changes everything. Your brain operates in survival mode when you don't have money saved. Every financial decision gets filtered through, can I afford this right now? But when you understand compound interest, when you actually see the numbers, your brain shifts. Suddenly, you're not just surviving paycheck to paycheck, you're playing a completely different game. Let me show you exactly how this works with numbers from your actual life right now. Meet Jake. He's 17, working part-time at Target, making about $500 a month. After his phone bill, gas, and going out with friends, Jake decides to invest $20 every single week. That's it. Just $20, the amount he used to spend on 2 coffees and a breakfast sandwich, or one impulsive late-night food delivery. Jake opens a simple investment account, something like a Roth IRA through Fidelity or Vanguard, and he puts that $20 into an S&P 500 index fund every week. These funds have historically returned about 10% annually, according to data from the last 100 years. Some years it's higher, some years it's lower, but the long-term average is around 10%. Now here's where the math gets interesting. In the first year, Jake invests $1,040 total. That's $20 times 52 weeks. At a 10% return, by the end of year one, he's got about $1,092. He earned $52 in interest. Not exactly life-changing, right? But watch what happens in year two. Jake keeps putting in his $20 every week. Another $1,040. But now, that original $1,092 is also growing at 10%. So he's not just earning interest on his new contributions, he's earning interest on last year's interest. This is compound interest kicking in. By the end of year two, he's got about $2,359. He's contributed $2,080 total, but earned $279 in interest. The third year, he adds another $1,040, but now his account is earning 10% on $2,359. His balance grows to $3,820. He's contributed $3,120, but earned $700 in interest. Notice how the interest jumped from $279 to $700? That's the compound effect accelerating. By year five, when Jake is 22 and maybe graduating college, he's put in $5,200 total, but his account is worth $6,614. That's $1,414 in earnings. His money is starting to work harder than he's working. But here's where your mind is about to be completely blown. Jake keeps this up. Just $20 a week. He doesn't increase it, doesn't touch it, just lets it grow while he's building his career, maybe traveling, maybe starting a family. By the time Jake turns 30, he's contributed $13,520 total, but his account is worth $36,885. His investments have earned over $23,000. At this point, his money is earning more per year than he's contributing. At 35, the numbers get wild. He's put in $18,720, but his account shows $70,126. He's earned over $51,000 just from compound growth. And here's the part that shows you why time is everything. At 40 years old, after 23 years of investing just $20 per week, Jake's account is worth $128,414. But we're not done yet. If Jake keeps this exact same pattern going, contributing $20 weekly until he's 65, his account will be worth over $1.2 million from $20 a week. Now let's compare Jake to his friend Marcus. Marcus thinks the same thing most people think. I'll start investing when I'm making real money. Marcus waits until he's 27, has a good job, and can afford to invest $40 per week, twice what Jake invested. Marcus puts in this higher amount every week until he's 65. Marcus will end up with about $950,000. Jake, who started earlier but invested half as much each week, will have $1.2 million. Jake wins by $250,000 simply because he started 10 years earlier. Those 10 years of compound growth are worth more than doubling the weekly contribution. This is the math that wealthy people understand and broke people don't. Early money compounds harder than late money. But here's the psychology behind why this is so hard for most people to grasp. When you're 17 and you invest $20, you're sacrificing something real and tangible today for something abstract and far away. That $20 could be Chipotle right now, or it could be $600 in 23 years. Your brain wants the Chipotle. This is called temporal discounting, and it's why lottery tickets exist and why most people retire broke. The trick is reframing how you think about money. That $20 isn't just $20, it's a seed that grows into a tree. And the earlier you plant it, the bigger the tree gets. According to research from the Federal Reserve, young Americans who start investing early already own $1.23 for every $1 that Gen X owned at the same age, and $1.35 for every $1 boomers had. This generation is actually positioned to be wealthier than their parents, but only if they understand compound interest and start early. The S&P 500 has delivered an average annual return of around 10% over the past century. In 2024, it returned 23%. In 2023, it returned 24%. Some years it loses money, like the 19% drop in 2022. But over long time periods, the math is remarkably consistent. If you give it 20 plus years, you're almost certain to see significant growth. And here's something most people don't realize about those percentage gains. A 10% return on $1,000 is $100. Nice, but not life-changing. A 10% return on $100,000 is $10,000. Same percentage, same amount of risk, same effort on your part. But the result is 100 times larger just because you have more money working for you. This is why that first $20,000 feels impossible to save, but completely transforms your financial life. Once you hit that threshold, your money starts generating serious returns. Before that, you're pushing the boulder uphill. After that, gravity starts working in your favor. Okay, so what can you actually do with this information? Here are 3 things you can start this week. First, track every dollar for 7 days. Just 1 week. Use your phone's Notes app or download something like Mint. Figure out where your money is actually going. You'll probably find $20 or $30 per week disappearing into things you don't even remember buying. That DoorDash markup, those subscriptions you forgot about, the just $5 purchases that add up to $100. Once you see it, you can redirect it. Second, if you're 18 or turning 18 soon, open a Roth IRA this month. You can do this online with Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab in about 20 minutes. A Roth IRA is a retirement account where your money grows tax-free. That means when you withdraw it at retirement, you pay 0 taxes on all those gains. If you're under 18, get a parent to help you open a custodial account. Put money into a simple S&P 500 index fund and don't touch it. Third, start with whatever you can actually afford. Can't do $20? Start with $10. Can't do weekly? Do monthly. The specific amount matters less than building the habit and giving your money time to compound. Even $50 per month invested from age 17 to 40 will grow to over $60,000. That's a down payment on a house, or a year of living expenses, or the freedom to take a risk on a business idea. And here's the advanced move. Every time you get a raise or a better job, increase your investment by half of the increase. Got a $2 per hour raise? That's about $80 more per month. Put $40 toward investing. You'll still feel the raise, but you're also supercharging your compound growth. So remember, $20 per week invested from 17 to 40 becomes $128,000. And if you keep going, it becomes over a million by retirement. Not because you got lucky, not because you had some secret investing strategy, just because you understood compound interest and gave it time to work. You're learning this at 17 or 18. Most people don't figure this out until they're 30 and already behind. You have something they'll never get back: time for your money to compound. The choice you're making this week, whether to spend that $20 on something you'll forget about by next month or invest it towards your future, could literally be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not an exaggeration. That's just math. If this actually clicked for you, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the first thing you're going to cut from your budget to start investing? I want to know what you're choosing to sacrifice now for your future freedom. Your 40-year-old self is either going to thank you for watching this video or wonder why you didn't take it seriously. The math doesn't lie. Now go make it work for you.